Hello, I'm Joachim Duplessis. Welcome to the HTS Epoll. It's your opportunity to weigh in on the most pressing issues of the day. Saint Lucia has experienced a chronically high number of automobile accidents, placing immense strain on emergency services, with the fire service alone responding to thousands of vehicular emergencies annually. This disturbing trend has reignited public debate regarding comprehensive strategies to enhance road safety. While some advocate for stricter enforcement and more severe penalties for reckless driving, others propose preventative measures to instill a culture of caution among motorists. Among the suggested interventions is the controversial proposal of mandating periodic defensive driving courses. Proponents argue this could fundamentally shift driver behavior, imparting crucial skills to anticipate hazards and react safely. However, critics raise concerns about the logistical burdens, potential cost to drivers, and whether such courses truly address the root cause of reckless driving, such as driver mindset or inadequate road infrastructure. So we ask, should mandatory periodic defensive driving courses be a prerequisite for driver's license renewal in Saint Lucia? We took to the streets to get your opinion, and here's what you had to say.
For the younger guys, not the elderly persons, because the lawlessness is the young people on the streets with these fast cars, which we have no words for, like the Lexus SI 350 and 250. Right in front of my eyes, I see them spinning out tires. The point system, I think they should have laws to enforce the driving, give them tickets if they're paid, get the license away from them.
Yes, they should every year because there are too much accidents happening on the road and there are too much carelessness on the road, so it's a good idea.
I'll agree to that, yes, they should, but even more intensively, I think we should give them a test every time they break the law. And because what disturbs me every day is, I have a motorcycle, every day there's a motorcycle without a helmet popping up and stuff like that. It's just a disturbing sight to see. And the amount of young people that are not obeying the laws, driving fast, overtaking in corners, somehow we need to learn from our elders. They drive slow, careful. Take the advice of your fathers, like me, my dad, always tell me every morning, hey, Cyril, drive slowly, get to work safe, get back home safe, do the right thing. Because it reduces the work on the police, and I think more screening should be done in even giving the licenses to those young men. The process is too fast. Maybe we need to take them to a more rigorous test so they can be certified as drivers and make sure defensive driving is something that is mandatory, not just once, but throughout your career as a driver.
Oh yes, for sure they should do that. Every 2 years I think they should go recheck on the license, recheck on the vibes on the island, especially the rules of driving, and to pay more caution on the driving of the road of the accident. That's what's going on right now there, because a lot of them, especially young ones, they are buying the license. A lot of people buy the license, they don't go through the full cost of the license process for the streets, and they don't have respect for anything on the streets, especially human beings, animals, anything. They don't have respect.
Well, with driving self, the driving cost to me, it won't really make a difference because it's the driver's mindset. Because a lot of people, especially when they are young, what the learners teach them, when they get that license, they do something totally different. They violate the traffic laws and things like that. The point system should be like, when you have an accident, like they take at least 10 points away from you, and when it accumulates to a certain amount, then they could just hold your license or something like that.
Because you back up you drive, you PC. Because only you put on the shima, local drive, the fences driving costa canyon. And puis you pass up the shima, you need to put on the shima.
Man, I think every 2 years is too long. They should refresh the course every year. Too many accidents, and every time they have an accident, if it's their fault, points should come off their license. So maybe in a certain amount of time they can end up not driving again, not being able to drive again. I know it's tedious them having to do it every year, but for the sake of people's lives and kind of carelessness going on the road, that's what should happen.
Well, the defensive course, I think that should just happen whilst you're going for your license. To make it just a one thing and make it easier. So as you pass your test, you're ready. If you're not ready, you shouldn't get no license. I think it's the road maintenance is points in Lucia, especially when you're driving at night. You can hardly see the edge of the road. You cannot tell where that's the edge, where that's the center, where that's, because there is no marking. Most of the roads in Saint Lucia, especially the East Coast, there is no marking on the road.
Do you think they should have tougher penalties?
Oh, of course. For reckless drivers, yes.
To be honest, I don't think the defensive driving course every 2 years is going to really solve anything. What we need is more penalties, tougher penalties, and more enforcement. Because people will walk out of a defensive driving class and they will still drive recklessly, especially the younger ones these days.
Now to our new discussion. The recent passing of Pascal Watson-Louis, a beloved Labrie community pillar, has brought renewed attention to the profound impact of volunteerism on both individuals and national development. Proponents argue that a mandated national volunteerism program could instill a stronger sense of civic duty and community responsibility in Saint Lucian youth, fostering invaluable life skills and a deeper appreciation for their society. Such initiatives could also address critical needs within communities, leveraging collective effort for the greater good. However, some express concerns that mandatory service might diminish the intrinsic value of volunteerism, transforming a selfless act into a mere obligation. There are also practical considerations regarding the logistical challenges of implementing and overseeing such a widespread program, as well as potential debates over what constitutes meaningful service. Despite these different viewpoints, the conversation around nurturing a more engaged and altruistic citizenry continues to gain traction. So we ask, do you believe a national volunteerism mandate would ultimately produce better citizens in St. Lucia? Remember, our Epoll team is always on the go to get your responses as well. Watch the HTS News Force from 7 p.m. for the results and a new discussion.